Welcome to the Fear Files, your go-to channel for chilling tales and spine-tingling stories from around the world. Today is a special episode as we kick off Volume 1 of our series exploring the scariest stories from cities across the globe, starting with the historic city of Liverpool. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more haunting content as we delve into 5 of the top scariest stories from this storied city. Now, gather around as we uncover the otherworldly happenings that lurk in the shadows of Liverpool. In the heart of Liverpool stands the Blue Coat Chambers, a beautiful building known for its art and culture. However, within its walls lies a chilling tale that has echoed through history. The story dates back to the 18th century, when the building served as a charity school for boys. The spectral figure of a young boy has reportedly been seen roaming the halls, wearing tattered clothing and a haunting expression. Witnesses have described experiencing sudden drops in temperature, strange whispers, and the feeling of being watched. One particularly eerie account tells of a group of art students who were working late one evening. They began to hear small footsteps and laughter in the halls when no one else was present. Intrigued, they followed the sounds only to find themselves alone in the dark, chilling air surrounding them. Could it be the spirit of a boy who once sought refuge here, a reminder of the building's long and storied past? Some claim that if you listen closely enough, you can still hear the laughter of the boys who once roamed the halls. The Blue Coat Chambers remains a site of both inspiration and unease, and continues to captivate those who dare to uncover its mysteries. Next, we journey to St. James Cemetery, a site steeped in history and tragedy. The cemetery is home to over 30,000 graves, including many of Liverpool's notable figures. Yet, among the weathered tombstones and twisted trees, it is said that the spirit of a grieving widow wanders, eternally searching for her lost love. Legend has it that she was buried alive by mistake, and on certain nights her lamenting cries can be heard echoing through the cemetery. Visitors have reported seeing a spectral figure in white wandering among the graves, her face twisted in sorrow. One night, a couple walking through the cemetery heard soft weeping coming from a nearby grave. As they approached, the air grew colder and they saw the faint outline of a woman in white, her hair tangled and wild. Just as they reached her, she vanished into thin air, leaving behind only a sudden chill and an overwhelming sense of sorrow. To this day, those who venture into St. James Cemetery at night tread lightly, for they might just encounter the spirit of the lost widow still searching for her beloved. Story 3. The White Lady of Hale Village. Our next story takes us to Hale Village, a quaint and picturesque settlement that seems to be frozen in time. Nestled in the heart of the countryside, this village is known for its rustic charm and serene landscapes. However, beneath its tranquil exterior lies a chilling legend that has haunted the villagers for generations. The legend of the White Lady. This ghostly apparition is said to be the spirit of a woman who tragically lost her children to the river that runs through the village. The river, which is now a peaceful and scenic spot, was once the site of an unimaginable tragedy. The woman, whose name has been lost to history, was a devoted mother who adored her children more than anything in the world. Consumed by grief, she wandered the village searching for her babies until her own demise. Her sorrow was so profound that it is said to have left an indelible mark on the village, a mark that can still be felt to this day. The villagers say that on certain nights when the moon is full and the air is thick with fog, you can hear her mournful cries echoing through the streets. Now she appears as a spectral figure dressed in flowing white, gliding silently through the streets on foggy nights. Her presence is both eerie and mesmerizing, a haunting reminder of the love and loss that once consumed her. She is often seen near the places that were significant to her in life: the riverbank, the old bridge, and the streets where she once walked with her children. Many locals have claimed to see her near the riverbank, her hands outstretched as if pleading for help. These sightings are often accompanied by a sudden drop in temperature and an overwhelming sense of sadness. Some say that if you listen closely, you can hear her whispering the names of her lost children, a heartbreaking plea for their return. One particularly chilling account comes from a local fisherman who recounted a night spent by the riverbank, an unusually thick fog blanketing the area. The fisherman, a seasoned and stoic man, was not one to be easily frightened. However, what he experienced that night would haunt him for the rest of his life. He suddenly felt a cold breeze and looked up to see a figure emerging from the fog, floating gracefully above the ground. The figure was dressed in a flowing white gown, her long hair cascading down her back. She moved with an otherworldly grace, her feet never touching the ground. The fisherman was rooted to the spot, unable to move or speak. Initially believing it to be an illusion, he rubbed his eyes, only to find the figure still there, staring at him with an expression of profound sorrow. Her eyes were filled with tears, and her face was etched with a grief so deep that it seemed to transcend time. The fisherman felt a wave of sadness wash over him, a sadness that was not his own, but seemed to come from the very soul of the apparition before him. As she drew closer, the fisherman felt an overwhelming sense of despair wash over him, and he instinctively turned to flee. His heart pounded in his chest as he ran, the sound of his own footsteps echoing in his ears. He dared not look back, fearing that the ghostly figure would be right behind him, her sorrowful eyes still fixed on him. When he looked back, the figure had vanished, but the feeling of loss lingered for weeks afterward. The fisherman could not shake the image of the white lady from his mind, and he found himself avoiding the riverbank, especially on foggy nights. He shared his story with the villagers, who listened with a mix of fear and fascination. While many dismiss the tale as folklore, those who have seen the White Lady cannot shake the feeling that she is forever tied to her grief, eternally searching for solace as the river flows on. The legend of the White Lady has become an integral part of Hale Village's history, a story passed down from generation to generation. It serves as a reminder of the enduring power of love and the devastating impact of loss. Whether you believe in ghosts or not, the tale of the White Lady is a poignant and haunting story that continues to captivate the imagination of all who hear it. Story 4. The Haunted Liverpool Waterfront. Moving on, we reach the iconic Liverpool waterfront, a bustling area by day, but one that transforms into a realm of the unsettling by night. As the sun dips below the horizon, the vibrant energy of the day gives way to an eerie stillness, and the waterfront takes on a life of its own, shrouded in mystery and whispers of the past. The spirits of sailors and traders from centuries past are said to haunt these shores, forever tied to the sea that claimed their lives. These spectral figures are believed to wander the docks, their restless souls searching for peace that eludes them. The sea, with its relentless waves and unforgiving storms, has been both a giver and taker of life. Many who ventured out never returned, their fates sealed by the merciless waters. The echoes of their final moments are said to linger, carried by the wind and the waves. One tale recounts the spirit of a sailor who died tragically during a storm while trying to save a fellow crew member. His bravery and sacrifice are remembered, but his spirit is said to be trapped, reliving that fateful night over and over again. His ghost has been seen standing on the docks, staring out at the water with a forlorn expression. Witnesses describe a figure dressed in old maritime attire, his eyes filled with sorrow and longing, as if waiting for a ship that will never return. Fishermen and dock workers have reported hearing the sounds of shouting and splashing coming from the water, only to find no one there. These unexplained noises often occur on calm nights, adding to the eerie atmosphere that envelops the waterfront, only to find no one there. The silence that follows these ghostly sounds is almost deafening, as if the waterfront itself is holding its breath, waiting for something to happen. Former dock workers recall nights spent on the docks, feeling an inexplicable presence nearby. They speak of cold spots and sudden chills, as if an unseen entity is passing by, watching them from the shadows, feeling an inexplicable presence nearby. Some have even reported seeing shadowy figures moving in the periphery of their vision, only to disappear when they turn to look. These experiences have left many convinced that the waterfront is indeed haunted. One particularly chilling story comes from a night owl who worked late shifts. He often found himself alone on the docks, surrounded by the darkness and the distant sounds of the city. It was during these solitary hours that he encountered something truly unsettling. He claimed that just before midnight, he would hear a persistent whistle echoing around him. The sound was clear and distinct, cutting through the silence of the night. It seemed to come from nowhere and everywhere at once, leading him on a ghostly chase. He would hear a persistent whistle echoing around him. Intrigued and unnerved, he followed the sound, hoping to find its source. The whistle led him through the maze of docks and warehouses, always just out of reach, always just around the next corner. Intrigued, he followed the sound, only to find himself at the edge of the docks with no one stationed there. The water below was calm, reflecting the moonlight, but the air was thick with an unexplainable tension. It was as if the very atmosphere was charged with the presence of the past. As he turned to leave, he felt a hand grip his shoulder. The touch was cold and firm, sending a shiver down his spine. He spun around, expecting to see someone standing there, but there was nothing. Only the empty docks and the silent night. He felt a hand grip his shoulder, only to find nothing when he looked back. The experience left him shaken, and he never worked the late shift again, convinced that he had encountered one of the waterfront's restless spirits, only to find nothing when he looked back. The waterfront, with its rich history and tragic past, remains a place where the line between the living and the dead is blurred. Those who visit at night often leave with stories of their own, adding to the legend of the haunted Liverpool waterfront. The Liverpool waterfront remains a place of mystery and ghostly encounters, echoing with the whispers of those who faced perilous fates upon its waters. The fog that rolls in from the sea seems to carry with it the voices of the past, creating an atmosphere thick with history and hauntings, echoing with the whispers of those who faced perilous fates upon its waters. Each corner of the waterfront holds a story, each shadow a secret. For those brave enough to explore, the haunted Liverpool waterfront offers a glimpse into a world where the past is never truly gone, and the spirits of yesteryear still walk among us. Story 5. The Legend of the Phantom Coach. This tale brings us to the shadowed streets of Liverpool, where the legend of the Phantom Coach has terrified night wanderers for centuries. This eerie tale has been passed down through generations, each retelling adding a layer of mystery and fear. Local lore has it that a spectral coach drawn by headless horses traverses the streets after midnight, a chilling sight that has left many in a state of shock and disbelief. Driven by a spectral figure shrouded in darkness, the coach is said to be a harbinger of doom. Those unfortunate enough to encounter the coach are said to be cursed to face misfortune, their lives forever altered by the ghostly apparition. One particularly famous tale emerged from a group of friends who decided to explore Liverpool after dark. They were thrill seekers, always looking for the next big adventure, and the legend of the Phantom Coach was too tempting to resist. Fueled by bravado and a few drinks, they made their way to Edge Lane, a place notorious for sightings of the Phantom Coach. Edge Lane, with its dark history and eerie atmosphere, was the perfect setting for their midnight escapade. The friends laughed and joked, their voices echoing through the empty streets. As they joked and laughed, a strange silence fell upon the group, an unnatural stillness that seemed to swallow their voices. The air grew thick with unease, and a sense of foreboding settled over them. It was as if the very night was warning them to turn back. Suddenly, the sound of hooves echoed in the distance, a rhythmic clatter that sent shivers down their spines. The friends dismissed it as a figment of their imagination, a trick played by the darkness and their own heightened senses. But their skepticism was shattered when they stumbled upon the specter of the coach, its ghostly form illuminated by an eerie, unnatural light. The light seemed to emanate from the coach itself, casting long, haunting shadows that danced on the cobblestones. Paralyzed with fear, they watched as the headless horses galloped past, their hooves striking the ground with a hollow, echoing sound. The driver, cloaked in shadow, was an indistinct figure, a dark silhouette that seemed to absorb the light around it. As the coach passed, time seemed to freeze, the world holding its breath in the presence of the supernatural. A chill seeped deep into their bones, a cold that was more than just the night air. It was the cold of the grave, the touch of the otherworldly. When they finally found the courage to run, their footsteps echoed loudly in the silence, a frantic rhythm of fear and desperation. They looked back to see the coach fade into the night, its ghostly form dissolving into the darkness as if it had never existed at all. The street returned to its silent, empty state, the only evidence of their encounter the lingering fear in their hearts. Since that night, the group has sworn never to wander those desolate streets again, a promise made in the face of supernatural horror. Their encounter serves as a warning to anyone brave or foolish enough to seek out the Phantom Coach on the streets of Liverpool. The legend lives on, a chilling reminder of the thin veil between our world and the next. So if you ever find yourself in Liverpool after dark, remember the tale of the Phantom Coach. Stay on well-lit streets, keep to the company of others, and above all, heed the warnings of those who have come before you. For in the shadowed corners of this ancient city, the past is never truly gone, and the phantom coach may just be waiting for its next unsuspecting victim. But wait, our journey through Liverpool's haunted past doesn't end here. This chapter will delve deeper into the history and lesser-known legends of Liverpool, providing more eerie tales and mysterious occurrences to captivate the audience. Let's start with the dark figure of Rodney Street. Known locally as the Black Ghost, this shadowy figure is said to wander the street at night, disappearing into thin air as soon as anyone tries to approach. Witnesses have reported feeling an icy chill and an overwhelming sense of dread whenever the figure is near. Next, we venture into the depths of the Liverpool Philharmonic Hall. Built in the 19th century, this grand building is not just a home for music, but also a hotspot for paranormal activity. Staff and visitors alike have reported seeing a spectral figure dressed in old-fashioned attire, believed to be the ghost of a former conductor who met a tragic end. And then there's the tale of the Old Dock. Beneath Liverpool One Shopping Center lies the remains of the world's first commercial wet dock, dating back to 1715. Workers and visitors have claimed to hear disembodied voices and see ghostly apparitions of sailors who once worked in the bustling port, forever tied to the waters that brought them both fortune and doom. Lastly, we can't forget the chilling whispers from the Williamson tunnels. Built by eccentric philanthropist Joseph Williamson in the early 19th century, these labyrinthine tunnels are said to be haunted by the spirits of those who perished during their construction. Visitors have reported hearing eerie whispers and footsteps echoing through the dark, empty corridors. These are just a few more of the spine-chilling stories that make Liverpool a true ghost hunter's paradise. The city's rich history and mysterious past offer endless tales of the supernatural, each more intriguing and terrifying than the last. If you crave more ghostly adventures, stay tuned to the Fear Files. Liverpool's haunted secrets are just the beginning. Many more cities and their eerie tales await. Until then, remember, every shadow has a story and every story has a shadow. Keep your lights on and never stop exploring the unknown. In this chapter, we will explore the personal accounts and experiences of locals who have encountered the supernatural in Liverpool, adding a personal touch to the legends. First, let's hear from Sarah, a lifelong resident of the city. Sarah recounts a chilling experience she had on Rodney Street. One foggy evening, she saw a dark figure standing under a street lamp. As she approached, the figure vanished, leaving her with an icy chill and an overwhelming sense of dread. Next, we have Mark, a former staff member at the Liverpool Philharmonic Hall. Mark vividly recalls seeing a spectral figure dressed in old-fashioned attire in the backstage area. The ghostly apparition, believed to be the spirit of a former conductor, seemed to be silently conducting an invisible orchestra. Mark was left with an eerie feeling that has stayed with him ever since. Then there's Lisa, who worked at the Liverpool One Shopping Center. While exploring the old dock area beneath the center, she heard disembodied voices and saw fleeting glimpses of ghostly sailors. These apparitions seemed forever tied to the waters that brought them both fortune and doom. Lisa describes the experience as both fascinating and terrifying. Lastly, we have Tom, an urban explorer who ventured into the Williamson tunnels. Tom recounts hearing eerie whispers and footsteps echoing through the dark, empty corridors. He felt an overwhelming presence, as if the spirits of those who perished during the tunnel's construction were still lingering in the shadows. These personal encounters add a hauntingly human element to Liverpool's ghost stories. The city's rich history and mysterious past are brought to life through the eyes of those who have experienced the supernatural firsthand. If you crave more ghostly adventures, stay tuned to the Fear Files. Liverpool's haunted secrets are just the beginning. Many more cities and their eerie tales await. Until then, remember, every shadow has a story, and every story has a shadow. Keep your lights on and never stop exploring the unknown. As we conclude our journey through Liverpool's haunted history, it's clear that the city's spectral tales are more than just eerie stories. They are a testament to a rich and complex past. From the chilling encounters at Bluecoat Chambers to the spectral conductor at the Philharmonic Hall, each story adds a unique thread to the tapestry of Liverpool's supernatural lore. These legends and personal accounts remind us that the line between the living and the dead is often thinner than we think. The foggy streets of Rodney Street, the ancient docks beneath Liverpool One, and the dark corridors of the Williamson tunnels all hold echoes of lives long past, waiting to be heard. As you walk through the city, remember that every corner, every shadow might hold a story waiting to be uncovered. These experiences shared by ordinary people bring an intimate and human touch to the legends, making them all the more compelling and real. Thank you for joining us on this journey through Liverpool's haunted legacy. If these stories have sparked your curiosity, remember that there are countless more tales waiting to be told, not just in Liverpool, but across the world. Stay with us on the Fear Files as we continue to explore the shadows and uncover the mysteries that lie within. Until next time, remember to keep your lights on and your curiosity alive, for the unknown is always closer than you think.